Yes.
For a real meeting, though. That's just,
That's how good we
yeah.
jumped on
Steve's telling jokes. Good evening and welcome to the Eureka Springs CAPC meeting for July 26th, 2023 at 6 p.m. And let's do roll call. Mark Hicks.
Here.
Steve Holyfield.
Here. Chris Jones.
Chris Jones. David Avanzino.
Here.
Now I got y'all. I couldn't remember her last name. And Chris Clifton here. All present. Okay. Chair comments. Hopefully, the public has seen a change in the commission and openness and working with everyone. And it seems like there's been a lot of good communication going on with the staff and merchants in town, and a lot of activity and good things going and working towards improvement. So I'm super excited about that. Kudos to Scott. I think, he's done a really good job leading his staff in that office. He's doing remarkable work. Okay, approval of minutes from 6/28/23.
I move we approve the minutes for the regular meeting of June 28th, 2023.
Second.
Got a motion by David, or by Steve Holyfield to approve the minutes from June 28, 2023, and a second by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so passed. Approval of financials. Well, do we want to discuss financials first? Yeah.
We can. Yesterday, I emailed all of you the financial reports for June, including.
Can barely
His
hear.
mic might be down.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yesterday, I emailed all my commissioners the financial reports for June 2023, including the second quarter financial that has already been presented to the city as part of the requirements of the commission. Looking at Schedule A1, we had a bank balance at June 30th of $1,928,537.55. That is an increase over May of $75,697.84. If you look at Section A, which we compare the June actual collections to the June budget, on food and beverage, we received $105,859. Our budgeted amount for June was $90,000. That's a $15,859 increase, or 18% above budget. Under lodging, we had received $94,898. Today I went to the mailbox and I found there was one June lodging collection of $3,407 that should have been in June, but I had already closed the books. So if you add the $3,407, it's B&B, to the $94,898, it totals $98,305. And if you compare that to the $95,000 budget, we would have been over $3,305, or 4%. So that's an accurate reflection of the income on lodging. Our total collections listed here are $200,757 compared to a $185 total budget. That's a $15,758 increase, or 9%. If you had factored in the $3,407, that total collections would have been $204,164, or $19,164 increase, or 11%. So those are accurate numbers. So if you look at Section B, we're comparing June of 2023 to June of 2022. The actual for food and beverage, $105,859. The actual collections for June of 2022 was $89,108. So we have an increase of $16,751, or 19%, if you compare June to June. Under lodging, we had June of 2023, $94,898. comparing to June of 2022 of $92,910. That's an increase of $1,988 or 2%. Under June 2023 total collections, again, I'm going to use the $200,757 number compared to June of 2022 of $182,018. That's an $18,739 increase or 10%. The last column, when you compare January through June of 2023 to January through June of 2022, the January through June of 2023 was $963,581 has been received so far this year. If you look at that same time period in June 2022, we had collected $837,582. The net effect is we've collected $125,999 more when you compare those two time periods, or 15% more. Going to collection, anybody have any questions?
So it looks like the lodging is staying about the same
It
as
is,
last
and
year, and food
that's
and
what I was
beverage
going to
is
go to on Schedule A3, because the last month you asked me about percentages. And if you look at Schedule A3, you see that the restaurant is 95.7% of collections for food. In May, it was 93%, so that's over 2.5% increase there in that category alone. Under cafe, it's 2.6%, and in May it was 3%. And in food truck, it was 1.2%, and in May it was 1%. So at that point, the amounts collected for June in those, for number of carry-out, grocery store, and other food are less than 1%. So that's your majority of your food collections are in restaurant, for sure.
How are you defining motel? Just curious.
A motel, if you go to Webster's Dictionary, and I did it, if they go in, they have a car and they park out front and walk in the door, that's a motel. Now you got to be careful, because some of these events, some of these venues are a little.
Wouldn't it be? I mean, to me, a motel would be like it's a hotel, but it's outdoor access, not just like.
doesn't matter in size.
You got places that have cottages and stuff. To me, those aren't motels.
No, they're not.
So I don't know. I'm just curious, because that's the largest. That's all.
The
motels
standalone
are that
units
much?
that are cabins are classified under lodging here.
Okay.
Now, for 2024,
we
you're
got a lot
hitting
of
on a
hotels.
topic that I think I want to present to the commission, a narrower breakdown of classification between these businesses. So when we move into 2024, I want us to get together and define the categories that you want to see, so that we can have this more specific. That will answer your question.
Of course, that'll mess up historical comparisons. Though.
I can't, I'm sorry.
That'll mess up historical comparisons, so if you change the categories around, and it's like, what happened
It will have
10 years
an
ago? It's like,
It will have an effect on it. You're right about that.
It's nice to be able to see last year what we did compared to this year. It gives us some point of reference.
Yep.
Okay. Looking at Schedule A4, that is the June financial. Schedule A4, we had total income of $208,630, and that is $7,465 increase over budget. I wanted to point that out on Schedule A4 for June. And then on Schedule, on the last half page of that same A4, you'll see that we had a net income for the month of June of $87,411. So our income was greater than our expenditures. Under Schedule A5, this is a comparison of June 23 to June 22. If you look at the gross profit line item, it shows a total income of $208,630. June 22 was $186.03 for an increase of $22,627 or 12%. Okay, under Schedule A6, this is looking at January through June of 2023 and January through June of 2022. If you look at the line item that says gross profit for January through June of 2023, we had $1,035,880 compared to that same time period in 2022 of $899,724, or an increase of $136,155 or 15%. And then on the second page of that same form, we are $43,114 ahead, or net income for that same time period. So we had net income of $43,114 if you compare those 6 months of 2023 to 2022. And that's all I had on the financials that stood out.
On the delinquency, the amount was like 9,000. And is that, and then on the D1 report, is that those two that are making payments? That encompasses all of that?
What form are you looking at so I can see?
D1.
And somewhere on here was a,
If you look at Schedule A3, I identified the delinquent collections
Right.
received for that particular period of time.
right, the 9,422.
Uh-huh.
Is it, and so my question is the two that are identified on the report, that's them?
Yes,
That total?
Yes,
Okay, and
that's
they're making
correct.
payments?
that's correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
I move that we accept the financials presented by Mr. Scott.
A second?
I'll second.
Got a motion. Yeah, David was tired. I have a motion to approve June financials by Steve Holyfield, seconded by Chris Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
So
I do have a
passes.
quick question about the financials, Scott. Is there a way to factor in current costs of the current inflation rate into what our actual numbers are?
It would be a percentage decrease, yeah, in comparison, and I would have to get, I don't know where I would get that specific
I think-
number for. I guess it's a government published number.
I think
but-
that would be the problem, is like, do you think that the number's as low as what the Government Accountability Office is saying?
I'm just curious, because when looking at these numbers, you know, as an owner of a restaurant, our prices have gone up. So we have to charge more.
Yep.
And I'm just curious to know what the difference would be in reporting if we took an average or a standard inflation rate and factored that into our numbers to get more accurate.
So that's where do you get that rate?
Well, that's why I'm asking
Yeah.
Scott. I don't know.
And not everybody's raised their rates, have they? So everybody across the board raised their...
Restaurants, I think at this point.
What we're talking
All
about is the
that,
purchasing power of the dollar and how it is worth less now than it was a year ago. If
I'm not trying to argue by any means. I'm saying I think what the rate that might be published by the government is going to be less than what it really is.
No, I understand
Yeah.
what you're saying. I'm just asking,
How do we?
is there a way that we can come up with, I don't know, Eureka Springs inflation rate? Because I can tell you on my end, everything from cucumbers to sliced ham is almost double what it was last year.
Seems like your food supplier should be able to tell you what their increases were.
let me think on that one, if you don't mind.
Do you understand where I'm going
I
with it? there?
understand
Okay.
exactly what you're trying, yes, sir.
Okay.
A comparison that factors in inflation.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, restaurants, I think we all agree, the increase, a good chunk of it is inflation.
Yeah.
Lodging's pretty flat. They're a little higher up, you know, a little up. And restaurants are probably a little up, but not that, I mean, the inflation's there. So, yeah, I don't know how, that's the problem, is agreeing on what that number is, I would think. But if someone has some ideas, that would be cool. All right, report, tourism director, Mr. Scott Barton, your report.
I have 3 pages of information. Will read as much as I can. It's quite lengthy. This is for the period of June going into July. We continue to create attention-grabbing reels for our socials, highlighting boutiques, attractions, and restaurants, etc. Continue highlighting weekly events on our Friday stories, and we create a July and August content calendar and schedule for every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Create e-blasts for upcoming events in Eureka and the auditorium, and we're working alongside Paradise for an influencer campaign. On Facebook, our top performing posts, we reach 87,064, engaged 2,200, and with an Instagram reach of 11,260 with an Instagram engagement of 1,424.
Was that an in-house?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This is in-house. Here's something interesting I found. The July social count for Facebook, we had total followers 113,380, and then on Instagram 29,465, and on the Facebook side that's up nearly 1,000 people, new followers, and about 400 for Instagram. As far as events, we continue to have music in the park. We have Summer Diversity working alongside Mr. Wilkes in marketing and ticketing for the Summer Diversity show here in the auditorium. And then we have Eureka Bike Week coming up, which is working with the Bikes, Blues, and Organization and other promoters in Rogers, and working alongside other promoters, booking bands and tribute bands and so on. We're approved to partner with the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue out of Rogers at no cost. We're working alongside that media team to promote Eureka on socials and websites. We created an event page on our website, Eureka Bike Fest. It'd be easier for people going to see the events for that particular period of time. We've designed a VIP pass package for concert attendees, which includes lanyards, koozie giveaways, and early entrance into the event. We've designed a Bike Fest logo T-shirt, and we've secured parking for bikers for this event.
So the VIP, what's that look like?
What do you mean, like?
Is it down, is it a reception type deal down here? I've
What
never heard that.
what we'll have is early entrance that will come through the door and it'll be marked outside,
Okay.
VIP entrance, and people can come in early. We'll have refreshments downstairs. In some instances, they probably can mingle with the artists that we're going to try to have here with them. And then at the time the event starts, they can have access to go up. We'll go back outside and come around to the entrance going to the front stage of the auditorium, and then they can come in, but they can't take their alcohol outside, so that's something I've got to watch. So it's just a little perk to try and, it's the first time we've done it. We're going to see if we can refine it, but people have been receptive to that. They want to come in early, and eventually we may end up working some parking into this, but they're willing to pay that extra money to come in early and relax. So that's working out well. We're coming up on Oktoberfest. We're working with the committee promoting tourism in Eureka for this fall. We've booked entertainment for that weekend in Basin Spring Park, and we're in the process of designing an Oktoberfest logo, working with the Oktoberfest committee, and we're going to link that Oktoberfest webpage to our website. Also, Nancy Paddock is continually working on Folk Fest. We're in the process of advertising that on radio and with social media, and also light advertising in particular newspapers. So we are in the midst, really major, of planning for holiday events. We're working with the chamber. I met with a gentleman last week, and his business is installing Christmas lights and Christmas decorations. We walked through town with him, pointing out different areas, what was owned by the city. So he had a really good understanding of what scope of work, and he's going to give us a estimate broken down by section so that we can decide if we want to have enough funding to, let's say, decorate the auditorium outside as opposed to the decorating the auditorium and Basin Park at the same time. So he's going to have cost specific on those for us. We're developing a landing page for our website on holiday events, and we're planning Home for the Holidays show December 8th. And we'll be hosting Christmas movies here at the auditorium during the holiday season of December. Should be at least four of those. And we're developing ways to market Eureka Springs to drive tourism up in the winter and a girls' weekend. We tend to like that. Also at the auditorium, we hosted Arkansas Music Works Brass Band. It was free to the public, and they were very good. And we asked them if they would mind coming back and playing Christmas music, holiday music in the December months, and they were just excited. Yes, the answer is yes, they want to come back. So they were very good. Been reaching out and booking acts for the auditorium to increase tourism. And we have Dave Mason tomorrow. Actually, he's driving in tonight. Probably when we leave here, he'll be driving in. And then we have Christine W. on August 5th, John McEwen on August the 12th, Joe Nichols September 15th. And then on Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue Weekend, I think that's September 21st through the 20th. It's 3-day event. 24th? 20th. Okay, 20th through the 23rd. We have Shotgun Billy here on the 20th. That's free concert. And then on the next day, on the 21st, we have Ian Moore with Shotgun Billy. These are blues artists. They're really good. If you go on YouTube, they're really good artists. I think that'll be an attraction. And ticket sales are going pretty good right now. And of course, on Friday, the 22nd, we have Quiet Riot, and that is the show band between the Eureka Springs and the Rogers area. This is the headliner band, so we have them here. And then on Saturday, we have the AC/DC Tribute Band, and we're hearing a lot of good things for that, and a lot of people excited to hear that. So we've got a really big weekend of September 20th through the 23rd. And then right after that, we go into Folk Fest, and we have John Fulbright and Melissa Carpenter, Brennan Lee, Kelly Willis, Trout Fishing in America with Matt the electrician. He's good. And then we will have an Ozark Folk Fest in the basement with locals displaying their works. Last year it was real successful. I talked to some of the vendors. They really enjoyed it, want to come back. There was a gentleman here that built cigar box guitars, and there was just a lot of good vibe about it. It was a good place for it to happen, so I was looking forward to that. Then we have the traditional barefoot ball at the Basin Hotel, and then some of the items we worked on here in the building. We had some running water issues we fixed. We're revamping the marquee boards, fire extinguishers and exit signs have been fixed. Install safety railing for customers going into the balcony. And we've been working on deep cleaning the auditorium for sure. And then we're working on promotional material for the Nationals semi-pro baseball team at Naturals? What did I say, Nationals? Okay, sorry. It's the Naturals. It's in Natural State. I'm sorry. I get all excited on baseball. But we met that group, and they have digital marquee boards at the games, and I was there, and I saw Turpentine Creek come up, and I was quite impressed with what I saw. And you've got a captive audience there for a good 2.5 hours, so, this could be good exposure for us to think about promoting Eureka at that site right there. But anyway, we're working with them, and we're looking forward to the Jeep Jam. We've got some giveaways. We're going to try and promote that. Also, Basin Park signage, we're working on those, and banners for the auditorium. And we also welcomed a Canadian tour group here. And then the last thing is we completed all the missing minutes and have been given to the city clerk. So that's what we've been doing.
Scott, did I hear you say something about a digital marquee for the auditorium?
No, this was at the Arvis Ballpark in Rogers.
I just wanted to, because I know that we have an ordinance that we can't have digital marquees or signs or stuff like that. So,
You can have one as long as it's not flashing.
Can be flashing.
It can't be flashing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't,
People do it anyway.
That's a whole nother story right there. That's
Also,
another-
City Council passed a temporary ordinance for entertainment district for Oktoberfest.
I saw that
So
last
people
night.
can carry their beer from the parking lot up to the park. It's from 11 to 6 only. It's in a restricted area, but that's good for
Great.
that activity.
It's 11 at night till 6 in the morning?
11 to 6.
Yeah,
Okay.
We're going to
party
have,
late, don't you?
Wow.
it's
I
11 to 6.
think that will help that activity a lot.
Yeah.
And so Home for the Holidays is December 8th. Is that just one night this year? Because last year was 2 nights. Just one night. Cool. Thank you.
And Scott, is there a way, since we're doing so many shows at the auditorium, which I love,
Thank you.
is there a way that we can know what our ROI is for putting these shows on?
I didn't understand, I'm sorry.
Like the return on investment. Let's say we spend X amount of dollars for Quiet Riot, and how much money are we actually making from
I
this?
keep up with that on a spreadsheet on every performance.
Okay.
The total cost of the entire event. What does it cost us to have this event here from the time we sign the contract until they leave out of town? And I monitor
good.
that.
Because, I mean, it'd be good to see,
Yeah.
because since we're bringing so many in, to see what we're actually making off of this event.
What I found is all of that is determined at the beginning of that contract and what you're going to have to pay to get that act in here and how popular that act is at that very moment in time. We were trying to deal with Dylan Scott for several months, and he was right on the verge of becoming big. And during that time we were negotiating with him, he did hit it big, and his price went from what affordable was to very high. And so we kind of missed him. But so, I mean, we could have gotten him in here at the higher price, but the return on investment just wasn't there. And it was on a Tuesday, and I was somewhat leery of that, being able to fill the auditorium up on a Tuesday. So that's part of the decision process before we bring somebody in. I've got to know I've got to have a good idea that I could make this work instead of just bringing someone in here. But on the other hand, we've got to have acts in this auditorium, so we're constantly searching. That you got to constantly search. So we use Polestar, and that's been very good, very helpful. And we're reaching out to different promoters and every other day to let them know what have you got coming. So it's a constant process. It never is still. It's always moving.
Yeah.
I think to David's point, in the financial reports, if there's been a show in the last month, or, I mean, you got to have time to put it all together, but
Right.
whatever's adequate, it'd be nice to see a synopsis of that.
Yeah.
When we start promoting our own shows, then what's happened in the past is we've had promoters come in, pay a rental fee, and they were totally responsible for the profitability of that event. When we start promoting in-house, then we're going to monitor that closely. So I can provide that I'll keep up with that, so providing that information is no problem at all. None.
Okay.
Good.
Awesome. Well, I'm assuming Michael got in a jam traveling because we haven't heard from him for Paradise's report. The report, when we met today, we were talking more about the fall and winter campaign, which starts like 9/18, I believe, and the summer campaign ends like 9/10, so there's not much of a drop-off. Summer campaign's been focusing on predominantly families and value-based marketing. Value messaging somewhat. And then the fall will be more of a focus on couples, girls' weekend, couple of influencer campaigns, several actually. And those will be targeted along with the messaging towards the fall foliage, towards the holidays. The what? Passion play. That's a separate one from Paradise. I think that you're going to do in-house. So that's a quick synopsis. I don't have all info that he would have. But that report will be published on the website right away. So, public comments.
Quite a list.
Yeah.
There's a
Just-
public out there.
There is a public out there.
He's ignoring us.
Yeah, we got a little wave. So
Guess that means no comment.
I think there's no comment. Any commissioner updates adding to the agenda? So we do, I'm sorry, okay. We do have some new business. Scott has made an offer to an auditorium director. The commission, I believe in the past, has kind of said for the high-level hire, would like to hear about it and give the blessing before it's finalized. So we put this on the agenda. This person is in a fairly public position, and if there were, it wouldn't be prudent to discuss it in public and jeopardize their employment with their other position. So I would recommend that we go to executive session specifically to discuss this person's hire for the auditorium director position. And would entertain a motion.
Say that one more time, Chris. Your last part. I can't hear you.
So, about the jeopardizing their
Right.
employment, I think it would be prudent to go to executive session. And I wanted to explain it because I know there's been people in the past thinking we might be hiding something, but really, this person is currently employed, and we don't want to jeopardize their employment if for some reason.
Oh, yeah, I agree, absolutely.
So to discuss the hiring of this person for the auditorium director position, I was recommending we go to executive session.
I move we go into executive session for the sole purpose of discussing the auditorium director hire.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion by David Avanzino, excuse me, a motion by Steve Holyfield
It looks so much
to go
better.
into executive
Here,
session.
just take it, Steve.
To go into executive session to discuss hiring of the auditorium director, and I have a second by Mark Hicks. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay.
Your
special
mic's not
session.
on.
You're live.
Okay.
I make a motion we adjourn the executive session.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion by Steve Holyfield to exit or adjourn from executive session. Second by David Ivanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We don't have a motion to make, I don't believe, because there's no objection to Scott moving forward with the hire. As that transpires, I'm sure that, obviously the name will be released, and but it fit within all the parameters.
Great.
Okay. Was there anything else to add to that? We've got old business. CAPC policy for solicitation. We've talked about this at the workshop, just a formal statement to help people understand the process for soliciting business.
We need a vote on it or anything?
Yeah, if we have a motion to adopt.
I make a motion we adopt the policy for solicitation 2023, section 4.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Steve Holyfield to adopt the CAPC policy for solicitation 2023, seconded by Chris Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, next item, CAPC meeting structure. As discussed by Steve, do you want to kind of outline again?
Sure. So we talked about in the last meeting and a couple of meetings, there may not be a need for a workshop every month. I think workshops should be more scheduled and more focused and more advertised to get people in to talk about a specific subject. These open workshops, we've had one person pretty consistently, but not a big crowd drawer or not a lot of decisions being made. Of course, can't make decisions, workshops anyway. So I propose we go to our one meeting a month, this meeting that we're having tonight, and then suspend having workshops and just have workshops as needed.
Any discussion?
And I put it out at the city council meeting and said, everybody on TV land, if you have a problem with this, come and talk to us. So well, Ethan's here for that. There's nobody going to do that. So I make a motion that we suspend the workshops that we've been holding every month, and we go to a system where we'll call workshops as needed on specific topics.
I second that.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield to go to one meeting a month, the regular meeting, and to not hold a scheduled workshop meeting except as specially scheduled. Seconded by Mark Hicks. All in favor?
Aye.
So passed.
Maybe this will help us get more members too.
Uh-huh.
One meeting a month.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to do 5 or 6? 5 or 6 o'clock?
6.
6, okay.
Regular meetings at 6, yeah. Update on bid procedures. Is this on the agency RFQ?
This is on the advertising agency, the bid process. I've got the bid has been submitted to our attorney, and Bill called me a little while ago, and I haven't responded to him, but earlier today I talked to his assistant, and we're at the 99% completion rate on that. So I expect to have that out today, so probably by Friday.
Okay.
So
That'll be advertised and all, like we talked about at the...
Yes.
Okay. All right, commissioner comments? Mark?
None, I'm fine, good, thank you.
Steve?
Opera of the Ozarks just wrapped up its summer season, and I saw two of the performances that were really good. And then I think we've all talked about how the morning show, the Today Show, did a segment on the opera, and it was really positive, and they talked about Eureka Springs quite a bit. And it's always been a great thing. I've been going since I've lived here. It's a wonderful part of our town, 73 years going on, and I think we're really lucky to have it here in town as a draw. So
David?
I'm good.
Chris? I agree with Steve on the opera, and I think we need to start thinking strategic about communicating with them and others, obviously, but they're going to have a big push, and we are going to want to know what all they're doing and how we can fit into that. So something to be thinking about.
It's going to change the whole, that's going to change the whole thing with that, so that's going to be definitely something
It's
that's,
big.
yeah, it is very big.
Very appreciative of the Walton Foundation.
Okay. We have a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion by Steve Holyfield to adjourn, seconded by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.